To Roth or not to Roth? That is the question, and I get it all the time. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about how this works. In our society, most people are taught to just defer things. Don't pay now when you can pay later, defer taxes, that sort of thing. And by the way, I'm not a CPA and I'm not here to give you any tax advice. I'm merely just educating you on how these things work. So, and technically speaking, there's really only 3 types of people that really understand taxes and math. Those that do and those that don't. Did you catch that? Okay, so far so good. All right, before we get started, I'm Glenda Jensen, president and founder of Jensen Financial Group, also known as the Retirement Lady here on YouTube. And please make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. All right, okay, so let's get into this a little bit here. I want to talk primarily about the Roth. Okay, there are limits to what we can do with that. You can only contribute $6,000 or $7,000 a year into a Roth. Those are the current numbers. And that's based on your age as well as your income. So if you make as an individual more than $144,000, you can't even make that contribution to a Roth, or $200,000 as a household, then you cannot contribute to a Roth again. All right, and I am specifically talking about Roth IRAs right now, but I do get a lot of questions about Roth 401ks. And a lot of people don't even know if their company has one. A lot of companies do, and a lot of companies do not. So it really just depends. But I would encourage everyone to check with your HR department and see if they have a Roth 401k option. Now, granted, just keep in mind that if you decide to go that route because your employer has it, your take-home pay is going to shrink. And the reason is because you're going to pay the tax on that money now, and you won't have to pay it later. Versus your traditional 401k, that money is tax deferred. So you're going to pay that money eventually. As a matter of fact, think about it this way. If you have $1 million in an IRA, that would be nice, right? And $1 million in a Roth IRA. So what's the difference there? Well, the Roth IRA, you've already paid all your tax on that because you chose to do it up front. On the other hand, your $1 million regular IRA, the traditional one, by the time you pull money out of it, as far as when you do and how you do, there's a good chance that you may only get about $700,000 out of that $1 million. I'm guesstimating that, but just understand for this sake the comparison that I'm making, okay? So the point is yes, you have less money now if you contribute to a Roth because you're paying that tax now, but you won't have to worry about it later. You think about it, think about your traditional IRA as being a joint account, okay? Which is kind of silly because the IRA says it's an individual retirement account, but they forgot to tell you that it is a joint account with Uncle Sam. So you also have the pleasure of making sure that Uncle Sam gets his fair share out of your IRA. But again, if it's a Roth IRA or a Roth 401k, then that's all your money, and you do not have to play by the same rules that people with a traditional IRA has. So, the main question should be is, do you think taxes will be higher or lower when you retire? Because if you think that they're going to be lower when you retire, which most people do think that, and that's why a lot of people defer. Okay, I'm just going to show you a quick little chart here. And I know you can't really see anything on here, but I know you can see that the red columns. And this is the current day numbers. And this was back in the 40s, 50s, even 60s. But what this shows is that taxes are historically pretty low. Okay, and I ask people this all the time, well, do you think taxes are going to be higher? And quite frankly, most people think, yeah, they're going to be higher. I mean, look at the economy, look at what's going on in the world. All of that stuff, it's going to have to come out eventually. So if you think taxes are going to be higher later, then why not take the hit now, so that you have that money in your Roth, you have flexibility, nobody can force you to take that money out, and it's basically yours to do what you want with it, tax-free. So that's my 2 cents worth. If you want some more information or just want to chat a little bit about how this might work for you, feel free to connect with me. Again, don't forget to subscribe to my channel as well as post any comments that you might have. And I hope you found this useful, and we'll see you next time. Bye.